right, thank you for joining us on Now You Know Movie Show, Game of Thrones, Season 7, Episode 7, the finale of the season. And we have Nick back with us because Nick did the impossible. He watched all 7 seasons in 12 days.
Yes.
What?
And had a full-time job.
Yes.
He's insane.
Wow. We're going to test him to see if he actually watched.
Yes.
So
He's the Mad King.
Let's just start off with a random character here. Theon Greyjoy. He is now a Greyjoy - Stark, right?
Yeah, he's both.
So Nick, he got into a fight this episode.
Yes.
He was almost beaten to death, but something saved him. What was it?
The fact that he does not have a penis anymore.
There you go. See, Nick knows things now. I like this.
Pretty good trick.
Yeah.
Just keep kneeing me in the groin.
I didn't realize that they just took balls and all.
Yeah, I guess that confirms they took the stem and the roots.
I mean, it would still hurt though, right? I mean, he's kneeing him full force in the groin area. I mean, sure, there's nothing there, but that still hurts.
Especially whatever
Also-
is there is probably not.
I thought that was
Maybe, maybe he had a plate installed.
I thought that was
maybe.
kind of
He's got
common
a cut
knowledge.
piece.
Like I thought most people were like, yeah, he doesn't have
Exactly.
a penis
Yeah.
anymore. Like I thought everyone knew that.
That's a good point.
Well,
they would have been.
Then again, who would he tell?
Well, no, but like the thing is, like everyone just kind of like
Yeah, it was
like,
shared
he
throughout
didn't-
the kingdom.
He didn't tell anyone. He never told anyone. Ramsay
What, did
sent
Ramsay
them.
tell everyone?
Well,
Well, maybe-
Ramsay sent them the disembodied penis.
I think
Oh,
the
yeah,
guy
it's
didn't
true.
want to have to kill him, and he was going for his tried and true groin knee.
Yes.
But I mean, he was still he was like confused because he did it a few more times. Like,
Right.
why is this not working?
Now, did Theon kill the other Greyjoy?
They seem to leave him for dead, huh?
Oh, he's I
They
think-
left him behind.
Yeah.
I like that scene though. I like that Theon was kind of, he, as ironic as this is, he kind of gained some balls.
Yeah.
Because
Symbolic balls, yeah.
Symbolic balls.
And
because
also he went to his brother and kind of apologized, and
Yeah.
his brother accepted his apology.
Right.
So that's
not all of
nice.
his apologies.
No,
most
but
of
as
them.
many as he could, and I think that's good. Get the family back in order. All right, next, Jon Snow is now sleeping with his aunt.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if everyone is as good as Brent is here at genealogy, because as soon as this happened, I was watching with Jesse, and Jesse was like, "Oh my god!" He hadn't figured it out, so he's like, "Ah!" And he's like, "Wait, that's his cousin?" And I'm like, "No, that's his aunt." I'm like, what? So can you explain it again if you can?
Okay, so basically, we have the Mad King.
Not King.
He had 3 children.
Yep.
He had Rhaegar, Viserys, and Daenerys.
Okay.
So Rhaegar is Jon Snow's father.
Okay.
Rhaegar is brothers with Daenerys.
Right.
So hence aunt.
Aunt.
I mean, they're basically the same age because of the big age gap between Daenerys and Rhaegar. But essentially, that makes her his aunt.
Yep.
Right. So when they find this out, because I'm sure they're going to have to find out.
Yep.
What's
Yeah.
up with that?
gonna
Oh,
stir
it's
the pot a
gonna
little
be
bit.
a little complicated because I have a feeling there's gonna be a baby.
And they're still going
I
to be in
really-
love
I
too.
think so.
But also, so she's the queen. He's
Right.
bended the knee.
Yeah.
Right.
But he's now the king.
Right.
Yeah, technically he's the heir.
He's the rightful
Yeah,
heir.
they're gonna have to do some complicated stuff in season 8 to make that
I don't
work.
know though, Jon. I don't think Jon's going to want the throne. I mean, I just don't think.
But I
he's the
mean,
type
George
of-
Washington didn't want to be president.
That's right. That some of the best leaders don't want the power. Now, question: if she gets pregnant, because the only thing that told her she can't get pregnant is some
The witch.
wish.
Yeah.
So if that's wrong and she can get pregnant and she's now pregnant with Jon Snow's baby, what is that baby to her? It's her daughter or son, but also her.
Nephew.
No, great niece, great niece.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
No, Jon Snow's her nephew.
Yeah, right. So great niece and nephew.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's kind of
complicated.
Well,
But in the
think about
world,
it
in the
totally.
world of Westeros, there's a lot of complicated things.
Right.
A lot of incests there going on, And
Yeah,
I
the
think that-
Targaryens are pretty common with.
Yeah, the
known for their
Targaryens
incest.
especially, a lot of their lineage is from purebred Targaryens. That's why their hair is probably so silver.
Now she dissed one of her hands at the meeting, Jorah.
Jorah,
She
yes.
kind of dissed Jorah at the meeting where he gives her advice like, "I don't think you should ride in on a horse and get shot at," and she's like, "Shut up! I'm going to ride in on a horse if that's
Yeah,
what
right.
Jon wants me to do."
Yeah.
Does that mean this is kind of the end of Jorah and her love interest with him?
I don't think
I don't
there's
think
any
that. I
interest.
don't think that ever really had a chance.
There's a kind of a running meme that Jorah is sort of in the friend zone.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
think that's going to be forever. I don't think Jorah's
So-
ever going to
I
get...
mean, I don't think Jorah's going to make it much, like, very far in season 8, to be honest.
yeah, I agree.
Because he's almost died a bunch of times.
I hope
so-
he
and
makes to the end, but yeah, I don't...
It's the real battle.
Yeah, because he
now,
didn't
so-
have much screen time in this episode.
Right.
Interesting.
I feel like Jorah's storyline has sort of come to an end. I feel
Yeah.
like they've reached his max point of interest, and he's sort of just there now. and maybe he'll die, maybe he won't. But him and Daenerys are back together. You know, he's cured himself of the grayscale.
Well, Sam cured him.
Sam cured him.
All right, let's talk about negotiations.
Okay, yes.
All right, this is a big, long scene. It had to be done twice, 2 different meetings.
Yep.
I was very surprised that many came to the meeting. Like, I think if you're going to have a head-to-head, you send either the one or your emissary, but to risk all your
basically everyone came.
Yeah.
I mean, because Cersei could have easily just killed them all.
Well, granted, I mean, Daenerys did come in on 2 dragons, so
That kind of levels the playing field a bit.
Yeah, right. I love the power move, though.
It did seem like they walked into a trap there for a minute, but I kind of got the feeling that, like, you know, they didn't, and I think it was a trap.
Well, they sort of, in a way, they did sort of walk into a trap, but not the kind of trap we were expecting.
Like a mental trap, yeah.
I mean,
a strategic trap.
Why were they so believing of Cersei when she finally was like, "Okay, I'll go north with you"? Why were they like, "Yes"? Now we didn't see that final scene between brother and sister talking about the plan. Is that because there's something going on there, or we're just supposed to just kind of guess what he said to convince her?
Yes, I think so. I think that was a bit of a shortcut storytelling-wise to just kind of jump to the conclusion that our heroes think they've won and they've won Cersei over, and you think that it appealed to her. You know, obviously she makes Tyrion think that she's pregnant. She kind of like lets that card go to him to kind of like.
Do you think that threw off Tyrion, or do you think he's one step ahead of her? I feel like he's not.
I think he's not.
He's not been one step ahead of them at any point.
Cersei's just so cold that, like, I don't think anyone expects her. Like, everyone's probably like, Cersei just saw this dead walking person.
So big moment here. Jaime is like, I'm going north regardless, and you think, he's going to be killed, but he's not. She can't kill her brother. Now he's got knowledge. He's going north. Why would she let him go north?
I was
so confused by that scene.
I thought she was going to kill him.
Well, yeah, because like she nodded at the Hound, and then the Hound like took his sword out a little bit, or not the Hound, the Mountain. And he took his sword out a little bit, and I was like, what?
But is this a double bluff? Is this so that he'll go and give them false information? I mean, I don't know.
Well, but what's I don't see the purpose of giving him the false information of like, they're bringing an army back, like
she seemed the only that he left too.
Right, yeah, and the only thing that I could see happening from Daenerys and Jon thinking that she's going to attack them is that they fall back from the wall and then let the dead win. Like, I don't see the strategic advantage.
All I know is that the Gold Company is coming.
Yep.
And that's going to be crazy because they are a huge army. They're like 5 times the size of the Unsullied.
Have we seen them before?
We have not. This is the first we've really heard of them in the show.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk of them in the books.
So the Gold Army is basically the Iron Banks, like, army that you can buy.
They're basically a mercenary army from Essos. In the books, they're led by a guy, I can't remember, he's basically supposes or puts it out there that he's a Targaryen too, and that, you know, he was kind of ousted and banished to Essos, kind of escaped at the same time as Robert's rebellion.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of, in the books, uncertainty whether or not he's actually a Targaryen or this, I don't know.
So he could have a claim to the throne as well, possibly.
Right. I don't know if they're going to really introduce this in the show because it's so late in the game now. We only got 6 episodes left. Do we really want to introduce another possible Targaryen?
Yeah.
But
how long do we have to wait till the next season? Do we have
they're starting it in October, right? They're starting production in October?
Yes. So they started last year in about October, so we should be getting it the same time next year as we did.
What are we going to do to wait a year? Okay,
maybe the spin-offs are coming.
We need suggestions below, guys, of what we can be watching in the next year.
Well, Stranger Things is coming out.
That's true.
In a few months.
Westworld's going to come out at some point.
Westworld starts the end of the year.
Yeah, the end of this year?
Yeah,
no, the end of next year, I thought.
I heard end of this year, beginning next year, somewhere around there.
That's good. I want
so we got a few tie-overs.
All right, let us talk about Littlefinger's death.
Yes.
Did not see that coming. I thought for a while that Littlefinger had already been killed by Arya and that this was pretend Littlefinger, but no, this is Littlefinger, and he tried every trick in the book to get out of that one.
He fell right into their trap.
I thought that he was surrounded, and he tried to, like, bring me back to the Vale. No.
Yes, he tried.
It was great, like his expression when they said, "How do you plead to these charges, Lord Baelish?" And he's like, "What?
What?
Forgive me, Lady Sansa, but I am confused." Yeah, like literally, like Sansa really, I really appreciated this because I was hoping that Sansa would show her strength and the fact that she's so smart now. And it seemed like they were making you believe that she was actually like gonna do something really dumb, but I don't know. She came through, and
As
her and Arya teamed up, and
As
I
she
liked
said,
it.
she's a slow learner, but she always learns in the end. So took her a while, but
This has to go back to season 1 too, where Littlefinger said to Sansa, "You're not very good at lying, Sansa." And she lied to him, and she tricked him, and she learned a lot.
he created so many problems as they were going through all of the charges. You realize, oh my God, he created almost all the rifts.
So if you go back to like all the major events that happened in the show, right, like, or at least a lot of them, like Ned Stark being a traitor in the end of season 1, and then Joffrey dying at the beginning of season 4, like those were all like Littlefinger played a huge role in those.
Yeah.
So all the things that kind of like turned the show upside down were all kind of, you know, Littlefinger played a huge part in.
What was his motivation? Did he just enjoy?
He was in love
power.
with Sansa. One.
Well, I don't know about that.
No, he was. He definitely was in love
If
with
you're
Sansa.
in love with someone, why do you? I mean,
he thinks he can play everybody. He thinks he's smarter than he
but
is.
is that love? Or
Yeah, no, I don't know if he loved her. I
He
think
loved her. He loved her. I think he did. That's my take. But he didn't love her as much as he loves power.
Right.
He loved
Okay.
both in a sort of twisted way, I think. But he wanted power.
Right,
But
because
then
I mean, he
also-
even said like, I think it was last episode that he was like, the one thing that he pictured was being at the Iron Throne and sitting on the Iron Throne, and then like kind of as an afterthought, like, oh, and you sitting next.
Yeah,
to me.
right. He wanted Sansa to be his queen.
But I feel like that was just to manipulate her.
No, I think he was in love with Catelyn his whole life, and she was the closest thing to Catelyn.
I would like to see it, like what in his mind thought that would get him to the Iron Throne. Like what were his moves to get there? Because it doesn't seem a very likely thing to happen. But
Well, I mean, he could have like Cersei got in power, right, by just everyone dying. So maybe that was his goal.
Just out of his
right?
depth,
Like,
he thinks he can survive longer than everyone else by manipulating people around him.
I think he
and
gave
bit
away
him in
too
the
many
butt.
moves to Sansa.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
by telling her how he thinks, and then she's like, "Oh, well, that's how you think." Now I
Right.
see how you think.
I just kind of I want to
think he
rewatch the
underestimated
season and just like watch all those scenes where like Littlefinger does that thing where he gives that little smirk and just realize that like he doesn't know what's really going on the whole time. He thinks he's manipulating the situation, but he's
Yeah.
really just being manipulated himself. And it's so satisfying. It's a good way to see him go.
And I'm glad they had like they had Bran there in the room with him, because that's basically like evidence right there, right? Like Bran would be like, so you did this one thing. You held a knife to his neck and said, "Don't trust me."
Yeah.
What was that about, Littlefinger?
And he's like, "What?"
Yeah, no.
Here's a letter.
Bran is the one thing that takes down Littlefinger all the time. Like you heard, you saw it when Littlefinger mentioned chaos, and Bran just like was like, "Chaos is a ladder."
Yeah.
And then Littlefinger's like, "What?"
And that was a
Like
pretty-
every time Bran says something to Littlefinger, he just gets like completely dumbfounded. Like, what?
Now, how do you guys feel about Bran? I love Bran now.
I like him as a three-eyed raven. I think it's nice. I think he isn't as good with his powers as I would like him to be.
Yeah, I mean, if
moment,
you can
yeah.
see what's going on at all times and places, then I mean, he even got something wrong, right? When Sam
Right.
comes in and tells him about what he gets the whole Jon Snow is actually Jon Sands, and he's like, no. All right, so let's go to the Clegane brothers.
Yes.
They had a little tete-a-tete at the negotiation, and I was really hoping for Brent's prediction to happen.
Game Bowl. We didn't get
We
it.
didn't get it yet. I feel like we're gonna.
We got
They were
Clegane like
taunting
shot
us.
glass.
They were like dangling it in front of our faces. They were like the hound steps forward, the mountain steps forward. They look each other in the face, and then the hound turns around and goes and gets the dead
tease.
thing.
Right.
Like, come on.
Now, is the mountain still conscious in any way? Because it's kind of confusing to me.
Well, he pays attention to orders.
He remembers. He seems to remember the hound.
Yeah, Hound said, "I see in your eyes that you're there." So,
Yeah.
I think they set that up for the next season.
Yes,
Yeah.
I hope
that.
so.
I agree.
If they never do that, that'll just be
I
disappointing.
imagine
They'll do
if
it.
like they end up, if Cersei's armies end up fighting with, Daenerys and Jon and all of them at some point, that the Mountain and the Hound will fight each other at that point.
Hound's
What does this
in
mean for the
battle.
future? Does this mean that the White Walkers are going to get the story for that is going to wrap up before the second half of the season? Do you think?
No.
I think there's a
it's-
chance they could be going on simultaneously.
Yeah, I think
Interesting.
that's what it's going to be, because that's far more interesting. I think if they get like the Daenerys and Jon and like everything in the middle of two battles or in the middle of two wars.
Yeah.
I think that makes a much more interesting season than either one of just like.
I don't know if you can hear this, but I've got a White Walker in the other room that I actually locked up.
Okay.
Just to prove to you guys that the White Walkers are real. I'm going to bring
right.
them out in a minute.
That,
Oh, boy.
I really dislike that plot point. I think
I-
that
It's a big waste of time.
Right, it was so, and it was
dragon died
weak,
for nothing.
It was a weak plot point. I think the idea is like, oh, we need to get a dead one to convince her. Like, was just a convenient, like, or a cheap way for the show to get the dragon in the north, so that the dragon could die, so that the dragon could take down the wall.
I don't know. I mean, I think it was also a way of showing that Tyrion isn't as smart as we thought he was.
Right, nowhere near as smart as his sister.
Yes.
Has become, or his father had been.
I agree.
We talked last week about whether the dragon would shoot out fire or blue fire or ice, and what were our predictions again?
I said blue fire.
Okay, now, then technically you are as correct as you can be, because it was fire and it was blue.
Yes.
I thought it would be ice fire.
I don't know. There's no other way for him to take
Yeah.
down the wall. He needed fire to take it down. I think that was the one thing.
I think it would have been cool. This makes no sense, but it would have been cool if, like, the Night's King had just, raised his hands and the wall just fell or something like that. Because
the brand's mark being left over the wall.
That's a good, like,
Because
way.
the wall is covered by magic. That's the reason that they couldn't get through it in the first place.
Oh.
Yeah, and I've heard some theories that, like, they would only be able to get over the wall because Bran had the mark. Because, like, they had a similar guarding to the Three-Eyed Raven's cave until Bran had got touched. And so him crossing the wall could put the whole thing, the whole world in danger. I like that theory, but then they kind of, well, that didn't really happen.
So, I mean, if it weren't for the dragon, they couldn't have gotten through?
They probably would have found it, like, the show would have written another way to do it, I bet. Like, they would have probably...
What are you talking about, show? What's this show thing?
I think that they would have gotten
Cynical
around...
bastard, Nick.
They would have gotten around it, around the wall one way or another.
Right.
Because I think that is, like... That's the game changer for season 8, right? Like, because otherwise they could just hide behind the wall and it wouldn't be as big a threat.
I think this was always the plan, though. I
Yeah.
think this kind of makes sense that this happened.
Let's talk about Cersei's pregnancy. Is it Jaime's, or is it someone else's?
First of all, my
we've got
first
a-
initial
we've got a
opinion,
theory here.
I think it's false. I don't think she's really pregnant.
Oh,
I
you don't think she's pregnant?
I think that it's...
I think she just does
she's
this
throwing
every
some
now
shade.
and then to get men
Oh, she
to
was
think,
totally playing Tyrion there.
Well, I mean, I think
she
she's
knew what she was
committing.
doing.
She's
She knew what she
committing
was
to
doing.
it, yeah.
But if she is pregnant, I don't think it's hers. I think that it's Euron's. Because remember when she said to Jaime, like, oh, Euron's going to get the gold company and bring him back.
Yeah.
I think that part of that shows, oh, so Cersei talks to Euron without Jaime being there. So maybe
I don't know.
they spend some time together.
I don't know if Euron is the father, because I find it hard to believe that he would be... That Cersei would have sex with him, because, like...
Unless it was part of her plan to
And
get
I
back at
suppose I guess if it served her any sort of strategic purpose, but he was such.
Well,
oh my God!
If we look back, I mean, she obviously doesn't love Jaime the way that she says she does. So she's been playing him the whole time. So yeah, why wouldn't she lie to him about it being his
And she
child?
needs a son.
Well,
And
I-
all her golden hair kids are killed.
Right.
Just like the witch said they would be. So maybe she
Oh,
wants
she doesn't want another
golden head
kid.
child. She wants someone with someone else.
Yep.
First of all, because she needs a son. She needs
Right.
someone to take up the throne after her,
Right.
like she always wanted. And this is what better way to do it?
I feel like she should accept defeat at this point. I don't think.
Why
she
are the
should.
bad guys always so good at deception, and the good guys like Jon Snow can't lie?
Oh my
Like,
God.
I just can't lie. Sorry, I'm
Listen,
not.
I think
I'm not gonna bend the
that's
knee to
why
you.
Jon's going to win in the end, though.
I don't know if Jon's gonna win though. Like, that's the one thing. I don't think he's gonna win in the end. I think because like George R.R. Martin said that it's gonna be a bittersweet ending, right? So I think that either Jon or Daenerys are going to die at the end, and I think it makes the most sense for Jon to die, and then to Jon. Like, Jon has never really been the ruler of the Seven Kingdoms, right? He's always been a North person.
True.
So I think that I've heard some theories, and I think they make sense, where Jon's going to end up leading the army of the dead after like at the end. So it's going to be like he needs to lead them so that they don't take over the Seven Kingdoms, right? Because I don't think it's reasonable for them to die. I think that they're a little too. There are too many dead people,
They keep going on like it's always a struggle kind of thing.
right. I think that Jon will become the new Night's King, and then control the Whites and the White Walkers and keep them back from the Seven Kingdoms.
Or he could kill himself and they'd all die. Maybe. I don't know. That's a
Yeah,
good theory,
it's
though.
interesting because I don't understand the Night's King entirely, because he's not a White Walker from what I understand. He's something else, and so I don't know how that all works. Because I don't know, maybe if you do kill the Night's King, then all of them die.
It's
because
so
he was the one who
complicated.
brought it
I think
back.
this is where Sam Tarley is going to fit in. He's brought back all those books for a reason, and he's going to be doing his studying and probably come up with some important answers.
I feel like
Him
what
and
would be
Bran are gonna
interesting
be-
is if they killed the Night King and nothing happened.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they killed the Night King and all the Whites and the White Walkers are still alive. Like, that'd be really interesting.
What if the Children of the Forest are still behind it? And they're secretly like manipulating everything because they were fighting men for a while, right?
Thousands
And
of
so
years.
maybe what their thought is that the men are out of control. They're killing everyone. They're insane. We need to take care of this.
Have
and
a
so they've been
balance.
right. So
they
they're
manipulated
using the
Bran.
White Walkers to go and handle the humans and maybe start a new human race that's less violent or try and do like a reset and fix the world.
Like climate change, like I've been saying all
Right,
along.
yeah.
That's what it is.
I wonder why everyone doesn't just go, let's just go back to Essos. They can't swim. Now they have the dragon, so they can go over the sea, but it's like, it's warm there. It's always summer. Let's just go back to Essos.
But I mean, the Night's King has the power to bring the storms with him, so I think he can freeze the ocean and get them over to Essos.
I guess.
I feel like I don't think that like you'd be safe on an island or across the sea. I think that eventually, if the Night's King took over the complete Seven Kingdoms, then he would branch out and just rule the world.
Possibly, yeah.
There's so
I could
many
see
cool things coming.
I'm excited.
So excited.
I want to see what some of the spin-offs are. 'Cause, like, I don't know like what
Is there
characters
gonna
are
be a
going to spin
spin-off?
off.
I mean,
There are supposedly
there's a few
Are they going to
development.
take from this world, or is it going to be a pre-world? Like,
I think I hope there's a Robert's Rebellion pre-world. Though
That'd
it's
be
interesting.
awesome.
It's interesting that was built on a lie. I think that's a very interesting
Robert's
thing.
Rebellion was built on a lie.
It's
That was
I
a
think
great line.
what's great about Bran is that we're starting to see that all of the conflicts that have been created in the Seven Kingdoms are all just kind of manipulations and like people making things up. And so that's maybe pushing it towards the cause of, hey, the humans are really corrupt. Maybe we should do a reset to see if, to like set them back to make them good again.
interesting.
Could be. I mean, where are the Children of the Forest? There's not much left.
Well, we need your comments about what you think is going to happen in the next season. There's only, 6 episodes? 7 episodes?
Six left.
Next season.
There weren't even any real long episodes this year. I mean, the last episode was only like an hour and 20 minutes. So,
Yeah, there were a few like hour and a halves at the end there, but like they weren't long
Yeah.
enough for me.
Yeah,
I
no,
wanted
it was
them
not.
longer.
It was not 10 hours of content.
but it was a good season, though, nevertheless. So, yeah, comments below on what you think is going to happen next season, and also your comments on shows that we should be covering, movies that you'd like us to cover on the next movie show. So, thanks so much for watching. Now You Know's Movie Show. We're out.
See you next year.